So today's Wednesday, and Wednesday means that the thrift store in my area, it's only a few miles away, means they're open for their brief window of 3 hours. They're also open Mondays from 6 to 8 p.m. So that's great. And I always forget to go. It doesn't fall in a good time for me. But I did go today. I picked up a few items. There's no service anywhere near this thrift store, which kind of sucks, but it's also okay because everything is so dirt cheap. You can just screw up every time you go, pretty much, and then hit it once and you're good. I've made plenty of mistakes there, especially when it comes to board games because they're like $1 a piece, and I will just say, okay, just give me all of them, and I'll see if they're worth it when I get home to part out. And they end up going right back to a different thrift store and redonated. So let's go through what's in the truck, and then we'll look at some projects over here on the bench that I'm working on, and then we'll talk about my first ever. Is it a dispute or a chargeback? I can't remember what it's called because I've never had one before. And I have been selling on eBay for almost 29 years, which seems insane to me that it's been that long. But 28 and a half, whatever years. First time, this is not full time, by the way. So don't think I'm doing this since I was a teenager, full time. But yeah, first one I've ever received. So let's go take a look at the truck. I'll throw comps up somewhere over here as I go through them. And let's hope some of them pay off. I think one's going to be okay. So let's go we'll take a look at that one first, actually. So when I walked in, that was on top of this. I think somebody was using this as a planter outside. And it says, let's see, Oliphant, PA. I don't know. I have no idea how you say that. Oliphant, FDY company. I don't know what used to go on this. I think it almost looks like it would have hold like a water tank or something, but I'll throw up some comps if I can figure out what it is. Now, this thrift store, what's the date on this here? This is 1907, August 27th, 1907. It says, okay. All right, so we got to look that up. But anyway, this thrift store, it's really random what you can find here. And the prices are right. So that was only $3. And I also grabbed, now that I'm looking at it, has it got some stuff on it here? Okay, whatever. So this was $1, and it is Derek Jeter, and it's from the Bradford Exchange. So limited edition, something or other here. Looks like we've got our work cut out for us in the corroded battery department. But for $1, I mean, everything's so cheap. I just grabbed what looks cool. 3 of these, one's opened. The rest of them are sealed. These fit 19-inch monitors. There's some 3M anti-glare filter. And then this was the most expensive thing there, and it's got a crack in it on the bottom, but it was $5. And am I going to break it here getting it out? Well, anyways, that's what it is. So it's weird because it says Coke up there, but then the clock is supposed to be this way. So maybe it is supposed to be sideways like that. But it does have a crack in the bottom, which is a little unfortunate. But maybe the clock inside is salvageable. Or maybe this here lights up. Or maybe someone just needs some of the plexi or the glass on the front here. So for the $5, it was worth a gamble, as well as the rest of this stuff. It's so cheap, this thrift store. And it's... even though you don't have service there, it's just worth just grabbing the stuff because I spent nothing. And if anything, if this isn't worth anything, I'll clean it up and use it as a plant stand outside. But let's bring these inside and see what else is going on. So I'm starting to get into more repaired stuff for the things that I'm buying. I buy a lot of old electronics, and there's always been the issue with capacitors failing in older electronics. And some other stuff too, but the stuff I'm buying, Game Boys and these consoles, they're getting older and older, and there's going to be some problems. So up until about a week ago, this this was my soldering iron, and all the cables are coming out here. But so this was actually my father's from probably 50 years ago, 40 to 50 years ago. I don't think there's a date on it, but it's a Weller WTC PN. Now, I'm not doing anything real fancy with this at all. I was using this for tinning wires, if I'm connecting wires and, whatever application, wiring a trailer up or something, or like putting wires back on a board or something. Nothing really crazy. I'm not doing micro soldering fancy stuff with it. So I had I actually had a few Game Boy games that had bad batteries in them, and I needed to replace the batteries. They're soldered onto the board. So I'll show you that one in a second. So I bought this, I don't know how you pronounce it, Hako or Hako. It's an FX888DX. I think this was less than 120 bucks. It's heavy, and it came with this nice little soldering stand right here. It's got a digital readout, nice little tiny digital readout. It heats up quick. You can adjust the temperature, and it's working great. The first thing that I did with that was, so Zelda for Game Boy here, Link's Awakening. The game wouldn't save anymore, and the battery inside had gone bad, and the battery needs to be, well, desoldered and soldered back on. So I'll show you that quick here. You can see the yellow battery with the tabs there that's soldered, and the batteries are cheap. You can get them on Amazon. Usually you can get a whole pack of them. They come like this, and it'll say right on the board too what kind of battery it is. So in this case it says, you know, BAT, B-A-T-T, CR1616. So it'll tell you what you need. You can see the original battery here in the Donkey Kong. It doesn't have the yellow ring around it, so that battery, that's original. This is a newer game, obviously, so it hasn't gone bad yet. What I'm going to work on next, there's a couple easy ones here. So the easiest one being this Game Boy Color. So this works great, but the speaker barely produces any sound, so I'm going to pop in a new speaker. Relatively easy fix. I'm not going to post videos of me doing all this work. There's plenty of people that are very good at soldering, micro soldering, and just overall, you know, PCB, you know, board repair, stuff like that. So look for them because they're much better at it than me. There's a Game Boy here where the screen, do I have batteries in this to show you? No, I don't. So the screen in this one here has lines, vertical lines going up and down on the edges here. One side here and not so much on the other. So there's a ribbon cable in here that all you have to do basically is get your soldering iron hot and then run it across the bottom of that and kind of reheat, rework the solder in it. And you can turn the contrast, I can't remember if it's up or down, you get a black screen. And you go over it a few times, let it cool down, and it usually comes back to life. So this, I'm hoping, is going to be an easy fix also. The Game Boy Advance that I have here is not going to be as easy. So this one here, missing the battery cover, doesn't turn on at all. And I have no clue what's wrong with it. So this one's going to be quite the learning curve, I'm sure. But I'm excited to get into it. I've got nothing into this one here, so if it breaks, it breaks. If it works, great. Then the, oh boy, sorry, this chair is very, very creaky. We could use some WD-40 here. But the big project is, let's see if you can see it here, is this guy right here. How many of you know what that is? I'll give you a hint. Anterex Polo. So this here is a, it's a monitor chassis is what they call it. So this is the board that basically hooks up underneath the monitor of a full-size arcade game. And upstairs I have Killer Instinct 1, a full original cabinet that, well, it had an issue. And I went to go turn it on. It's been a couple years now. And it started to spark and smoke. Make some noise. So we've got some work to do. This here is called a flyback, and that started arcing. It's tough to see here on camera, but it's a little crusty right there. But these capacitors, like this, they're starting to bulge out a little bit, so they need to be replaced. And there's also, these are polypropylene. I can't remember what they call these other small caps here, but a lot of this stuff's going to have to come out and get replaced. So the good news is, there's a company, Arcade Parts Online or something, I can't remember their exact name. They sell full cap kits for this. So there's plenty of capacitors that are going to have to come out and get put back in. But it's not that bad of a job. I know if you've never done this before, it looks a little intimidating, but this board's never been touched before, and I guess they're pretty fragile, so I don't want to send it out and pay $150 or whatever it would cost to do it. I'd rather just buy it stuff myself and then learn And then hopefully not have any mistakes to learn from, but just do it right the first time. So that's the big project on deck once I get the cap kit here for that. And very much looking forward to doing that so I can start playing some Killer Instinct again, because the game's awesome if you haven't played it. But let's get into this guy here. So I got a payment dispute. The buyer filed a payment dispute. We'll go over the timeline quick here. So the order was placed for a part. It was a new in-box item, and he says it's not staying powered on for more than 5 seconds. Defective, likely due to age. Okay, whatever. If that were the case, if you just got it, problems happen, send it back, we're good. May 22nd, they purchased the item, and May 27th, it was delivered. July 3rd, this person started the return. July 3rd, I declined it. Everything was good. It was beyond the 30 days, so there's nothing to worry about. So after going through this person's feedback, it's very clear they're a drop shipper. And they sent it to somebody, someone opened it, used it, didn't want it, sent it back. Now he or she wants to give it back to me. Sorry, it's not going to happen. So the timeline, so we got May 22nd, they bought it. May 27th, they received it. July 3rd is when they started the return. July 3rd is when the return was closed. So we're moving on now to August 7th. So a ways away from May. So they waited an extra month before they wanted to file this payment dispute. I don't know why. Well, like I said, I've never had this happen before. So August 7th, they filed the dispute, and August 7th, I submitted a response. So it's $100 that they're holding. It's going to take 2 to 8 weeks. So we're August 20th now. I've got a ways to go. But I sent them everything I had. It was a new item. The buyer tried to return it. It was declined, and eBay declined it or let it go through because it was past the 30 days or whatever. And then they come back even later and do this. So I don't know what's going to happen. I've never had it happen before, so I'm not sure what the outcome is going to be. Hopefully it's in my favor, because I would like my $99.24 back. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see, and I'll post an update here on YouTube once this all pans out. But yeah, that sucks. $100. What the heck? But yeah, let me know if you've ever dealt with a payment dispute. How did you handle it? And what happened? What was the outcome? Was it ruled in your favor? Was it not? And if so, let me know why. I'm curious to know. But that's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to get to working on some of this stuff and get a few other stuff listed, and yeah, just keep cranking along. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.